This day 881 the Arukh HaShulchan Yom. If you'd like to sponsor from Shir and board the Arukh HaShulchan Yom, please come to me directly. Very greatly appreciated. Everything is in the Tov Kufay Vav. Sif Ches Hu Yud Ches. Ches. There's pestilence in it. Summertime Shargo. There's rain, fast, and other diasporas on them. If the noble woman, the mistress, gets afflicted, Acheres, the normal woman, or I think Losha actually uses Gemara as Shivcha, maid servant, Lokoshkin certainly will suffer. Tavkishah never called it Yisrael, the pestilence was in all Eretz Yisrael. And when it's Basha B'Kula, but it didn't spread all through all Eretz Yisrael. Ain't so you don't have to fast. Because also the mistress, also part of it, has not suffered. If there's a pestilence in one district, and and caravans go and come and go from that district to another district, they both pass out they're distant from each other. Because the travel for people where the pestilence is in effect, who transports the pestilence to the other location. Test. Never be sold. It goes out saying this is a case where the pestilence affected Jews. Even when other groups are suffering pestilence, we fast. Some of those who say that this sitne b'chei ume lo shalit. There's evidently the Ron says that the Satan, in this case the Dever, doesn't attack two different nations. All Poskim do not write that. If there was pestilence in animals, we don't fast. So it's unless it took place in pigs. Because their inner organs are similar to those of man, which is why transplantation from pigs is probably going to take place before any other animal. So I skip, sorry. We don't make the fast on pestilence. Because it's clearly been indicated that the bad air, it's going with the miasmus theory of disease, the bad air is absorbed more readily when you don't eat and drink. Obviously, body's defenses are weakened. Myron feels something as Ketores, we rather increase our prayers, and we say the Parshas HaKetores, which is stops ever. Because the entire is a pidyon. We declare a kindness to be redeemed by giving tzedakah. To distribute the daniyim, and Myron tzedakah, and we increase our tzedakah. The bracket says, "Bizarre braces of kufan base isa damiras til Ketores ma'atzira magefa." The Zohar which says that saying the Torah arrests plagues. Sheikhum Borim Anashi Relokim speak 40 people erase Shemaim. Asar B'chol Ruach Meir 10 on each side of the city, north, south, east, west. The Shom B'Ktoris they should say Ktoris Yasakin Shalosh Pamim. They should use 3 times. The Cholgam Yikansu based on Esses, and all the people should come to the shul for Yom B'Ktoris and say the Parshas HaKtoris. Yud v'chem misanin al hamapolis shebair. If there are walls crumbling in the city, we fast on that. Ketzah house ratio rav sabir mapos solim brim. If there is an increase in the amount of healthy walls which are falling, which are not next to the river, which we would then be able to blame the water for. This is a travail. Misanin masriela. And you fast and you blow the shofar on it. Chen ala rash, so to on an earthquake, varuchos and on winds, shem apilim binyamin, which destroy buildings, vargim adam and kill people. Yisanim masir lame, you do fasting and blowing. Mr. Brewer says it's possible this year is 3 houses. You have chem misanim al choloim, you also fast on sicknesses. Ketzah reshi yard min cholas achasti yoshvei ir l'arbei mehem. If some disease came down to many people in the city, come on askara. That's got some sort of tuberculosis. For Charchur, I don't know what Charchur is offhand. But I think, I don't know. I think some sort of infection. Etc. People die from the sickness. I feel Seder. She's by above, even if it's not according to the order which we talk about, 3 people in the course of 3 days over five in a city of 500 people. I raise it Tzoras Hatzibur, there's a Torah of the community because of the Tanis Masrin, and you decree a fast and you blow. Which says the Ritva says that you need that at least the disease kill at least 3 people, but it doesn't have to be necessarily in 3 days like pestilence. According to what the Beis Yosef says, based on Yerushalmi, that Askara, even if one person died, no, even nobody died from it, it just is affecting the population, you still fast. But he says, oh, it seems that's only true if it came with a lot of people, even though nobody has died yet. No, he says it comes down a lot of people, but one person has died. At least one person has died. But if not, you will not set a fast. Like the Mishnah says, the 2 people have to die. Whatever. It's the ways of measuring severity. So if the most of the community got these spreading boils, or a moist itch, shoketz habasar, which pricks the flesh, and they have to scratch, which is like spreading boils. Av shein mason is a makkah. Ein mason is people not dying. This makkah, it's a makkah. Shchein the Mitzrayim, like the shchein, which was on the makkahs in Mitzrayim. Misanim masrin alei miyad. You immediately go to tinus and the shofar. Ain't so shoshem. We don't need 3 days. So do when people die from illnesses. Ain't so say that we don't have to require the same order as by pestilence. Yaksha mesu. Immediately when people start dying, misanim marin. Masrin, you fast and blow. Pasivos misanim, misanos, the environs of these plague places. Misanos on the they fast and they don't blow. It's a dry itch. Lo misanim lo masrin el tzochim muvad. Don't ask me why. You don't fast nor blow. You just shout out to Kosh Baruch Hu. And the bracket says here, much closer Ramah b'sifei the elu ain't so shimusu mishloshi. I mean that. For these conditions, no need to die over the course of 3 days. Come over dever shubah mikach shina avir, which is you need a pestilence because there's a difference in the air. Elamis anim asrim miyad. About these illnesses, you do tinus and shofar immediately. Lokay amisa al shchin mechichu. So it says here people are doing the death that the Ramah is referring to is not talking about the boils and the itch, because in that case we do have masrin, even if people are not dying, but it's going on the diseases of askra and charchor, etc. There, evidently, only people are dying. And it says, if it's the moist itch, then you also blow on even on Shabbos. Pekin porchim tinokosu mesim. I assume some sort of measles affects children and they die. Yes, you should agree and fast. I mean, everybody has to move their young sons and daughters from the city. If he does not do this, I raise him Schai benafsham. You're responsible for their deaths. That's the mother around name of Shlokosh. But used to never be here. Although albeit the Gemara says if there's pestilence in the city, close yourself up in your house. But these pimples have a machlam is a contagious disease. Then it's necessary to distance the children from the city. שונים המציאו רופאים להעמיד לכל כל נקדן בני שנה, או יוסר קווי פוקן. Cow pucking, so it's not. It's talking about pox, not about smallpox. So he says that the smallpox, you have to make a tinus, and you should leave the city. He says now we don't have to, because for 150 years ago, doctors introduced to give to any young boy or girl, B'nai Shana Yosef, who was at least a year old, cowpox, and that's the inoculation against smallpox. By Dezim Lotim Machlazu Ketua, and this way people are saved from this disease. Different. I think it's diphtheria. Diphtheria affects the digestive system and the respiratory system. If diphtheria spreads in the city, you should decree a fast. Also on bad animals, which are widespread. I feel like Zika, even if it hasn't yet damaged, nearest Baba, it's only been seen. You fast and you blow everywhere. I feel even those are distant. Because this affliction even distantly to great distances. But if it's not widespread, in other words, it's not spreading, only a coincidence. What do we find is widespread or spreading? Near if you see a wild animal during the sea in the sea during the day, that is spreading. I have examined Shemaim, and it's a decree from Shemaim. Became a because the animal is not fearful of human beings. So therefore, you immediately start fasting. So there, if it's in the field during the day, so then if it's two people, if not run away from them, I raise them mishulachas, then it's considered also be spreading. Being barcha fled, ain't some mishulachas, it's spreading. So if our fear is on the animals of the field, so then that's not an issue. The field is adjacent to a marsh or a swamp, which is full of reeds and small trees. Then it's not just that it doesn't run away, but only if it itself runs after the people. Instead of be spreading. If it didn't pursue the people, even if it didn't flee itself, it's not considered to be a spreading affliction. To me, because it's near its constant place, and the Pakokach is not so afraid. Therefore, it was in the swamp itself. I feel even if it pursued them, since they violated its space. Is not called spreading. Unless when I was pursuing them outside the swamp, it ripped two of them and ate one of them, presumably one of the two. Ate both of them in the swamp itself. Not it's spreading. The Rav is because of hunger. The Lemishim Shalach not because it's spreading. Mr. Jennifer says, if it does, any animal which is not exceeding its normal nature, Ain't some Shalach is not considered to be widespread. And they're saying, Ain't some Matsui. In large countries, it's very unlikely to have such a phenomenon. Sometimes there's a rabid dog, no shekam nehodam, and which is biting several people. Ain't some Shalachas. Says Arukh HaShulchan, this is not considered being Shalachas, but Yamaru Lami, so they should kill that dog as soon as possible. Shalatian says about the two people getting ripped apart. It's not only it's when he ripped one after the other, but if he ripped two people simultaneously, even if only one of them, it's not proof that it's spreading. It's the fact that it ripped two because it was one mice, so therefore it's not considered to be mushulachas yet. Yudal batim abnuyim b'midboris v'atzos neshamos. Houses are built in deserts and in desolate countries. Is there places where packs of animals roam. If the animal goes up to the roof, and takes a baby out of its cradle. Cradle is a small bed. It's spreading. If it hasn't reached that level, it's not spreading. Sorry. These people, seeking that small, they put themselves in a place of danger. They get into a place of animals. But other types of crawling things on the earth and the more vituperous, I don't know if that's the right word, but birds, which were sent and they damage, grabbing, such as a bevy of snakes or scorpions, shemazikim, which damage, venomamisim, even they don't kill. Uh, I'm sorry, so yeah, since they don't kill, not even they don't kill, since they don't kill. But answer Michael Tirim, Yatushan and goes out saying that mosquitoes and gnats, Amy Sana Lame, don't fasten them, Lomasrin, nor blow Shuminagashalom. That's the minhag of the world. That these insects swarm. The Ag Makom Shem Mitzrayim is the only place where they are prevalent. Near Makom Shem Mitzrayim, see in places where they're not prevalent, nearly that Mishulachas, then it is a spreading tzara, Misanim Mitzrayim, and you fast and blow. Mishnah says that some people say that on snakes and scorpions, even if we don't know that people are going to die from their bites or their attacks, you still are concerned and you fast. Test vav also on a certain type of blight which affects the grain. Grain has become ruined until it has become shiny. The shidafon, and also shidafon, which is a ruach shmika zeramin, a wind which somehow causes the kernel of grain to fall out of the stalk. Once it starts, either of those things starts attacking the grain. One place, the sides which would fill a opening of an oven. You fast and blow. Even people distant, but they're in the same region. Because this is something which definitely spreads. If it wasn't spreading, then the other cities in the vicinity will only fast and not blow. The opening of an oven. Means the amount of grain with which it's suitable to make a loaf of bread, which would fill the opening of the stove. It says brackets Gemara Bailu, Ikisui Tanura. If it's going like to cover the oven, or like a roll of bread in the oven. Okay, Tesain. On locusts and grasshoppers. I feel learning you don't see one wing in all of it. So I feel it's not destroying. You fast and blow. Guvoy, another type of locust. No matter how few of them you see, you fast and blow. Which is a more standard grasshopper. You don't fast or blow. You only cry out to Hashem. We don't know exactly the difference between these different types, and we do a blow shofar in all of them. You also blow on a lack of food. If the price of merchandise, which most of the people in the city make their living from, such as linen, clothes, bebavel, in Babylon, and wine oil, the commercial activity has diminished. So that to get any business, the seller has to reduce price from 10 to 6, and so saying we're 10 at 6. I raise it to Tzibur. This is the Torah of the Tzibur. Misayin aleh, and you fast on it. Mastrin aleh, and you do even blowing on it. Aval tainis lo shayach tzores mischar. It says not even blowing, specifically blowing. It says tainis doesn't relate to commercial anguish. Only the prayers and supplications. Shabbos zokim mitfilah. Shabbos you can cry on davening. Keman shouldn't get around because that's to do with the masses. When you're talking about Shabbos, don't do the shofar and Shabbos. V'chol gan levada tfilos tokim. On a weekday, you do besides tfilos also blow. Let's see how boys by Shemisanim. You can fast himself, possibly even fast. So that's a reversal. Mr. Bura says that a tzara of commercial activity is a tzara tzibur, and you do fast, which seems to be what the Arukh HaShulchan might be saying coming up. If there's too much rain, there's so much rain, to the point that the rain is causing them anguish. They could daven on them. There's no greater of travail. then intense rains where the houses are made. A pitch and dirt for no fleeing their rugged corresponding people fall. The houses fall and people are killed under, buried alive, buried dead under the houses. There is Yisrael aim smelling rogue shaman. However, in Eretz Yisrael you don't daven when there's too much rain. Mibnei Sheu Eretz Harim, because it's a city, a land of mountains, with him and Bavonim, and therefore, I guess it's more rugged. The house is built of stone, not out of dirt and pitch. For them, lots of rain is good. Kasser Meir says, if you have the Achshab, it's fast, Mitsuyim, Apolas, Bati, Mimos, Akshem, Ispala. And it's fast in the time that it says house used to fall when there was too much rain, and therefore they daven for them. Before the rock mispalim v'lo masrim b'shover, but you don't. It only says tefillah, not for not blowing, not feeling, not fasting. It's not like any other decree from heaven. It's because you have slipshod constructed houses. It's your problem. Because of Harezu Taiva, and the rain is good for lots of places. Before the Mashiach says you do blow on it. Ayin Sham Rambam, but Shulchan before Rambam says the same thing. Some of the Rambam some Mashkasa Bereish Paragimel. You have to say the Rambam who did say passing and shofar even for a lot of rain. Some of he relied on Mashkasa Bereish Perek Beis, the name which you wrote at the beginning Perek Beis of I'll call Soshi's Baru on all the travails which will become clear. Bisanim Masween, you do kindness and trua. Shokos of sea base, you writes it in sea base. Pisgam Mizonos Misanim Gamkain. Even when it has to do with food, you also fast. Not like we said in the previous sif. The Mizonos Purtu Masween. It's difficult that Ramashor they said Masrim by food, which lack of food. Whereas by too much rain, they only mention davening. So and why the difference between the two. And that's it for this session.